Hey, hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. So in this episode, I'm going to cover a contentious subject, and it's about protein. Uh, Protein is talked about a lot, especially people who follow plant-based lifestyles. How do you get your protein? Where do you get your protein? So I'm going to talk a little about what is a protein, what does it do in your body, where does it come from, how do you get it, what is your level or amount that you need to get in, where do you get it from, the difference between plant-based proteins and animal proteins, and then I'll also talk about some plant-based items that are high in protein and how protein is absorbed in your body, because that is also quite important. And then something that you might not have thought about or even known about is that there is protein in fruit. I'll talk a little about that too right at the end, so stick around and you might be surprised. So proteins are made up of amino acids. Amino acids are single cells or single molecules, a single molecule, and we need 20 of these, of which 9 are essential. So the 9 essential ones are phenylalanine, valine, threonine, tryptophan, methionine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, and histidine. So those are the 9 essential ones that we need. And we do not need a lot of these every day, but we need some of them. Then you also get a group of the branched chain amino acids, which are needed for your brain, because they can cross the blood-brain barrier and go to your brain. So all of these are important because they do things like collagen production, elastin production, that's threonine. Valine does muscle growth and regeneration. Phenylalanine is important for neurotransmitters, so your brain, dopamine, epinephrine. Tryptophan is also important for functioning, to wake you up. Methionine is important in the absorption of minerals such as zinc and selenium. Leucine controls your blood sugar level, stimulates wound healing. Isoleucine is important for immune function, your hemoglobin production, so your blood cell production. Lysine is important in hormone and enzyme production. Histidine is important for your sexual function, your immune response, and your sleep-wake cycles. So all of these essential amino acids are really important, and you need to get them from your diet. So you can get them from different parts, different places. So they are not that hard to get into your diet. And as I said, there are 20 that we need. Only 9 of them are essential, which your body cannot make, but it can change some of the others into them in your body. So if you are getting your non-essential amino acids in, your body can change the non-essential into the essential too. That can also happen. So a protein is a long string of amino acids that gets broken down into shorter ones: peptides, peptidases, dipeptides, tripeptides. So different length chains of amino acids. And everyone gets their protein from plants. So animals get their protein from plants. The really muscular ones, the ones that have the most muscle, if you look at gorillas, elephants, cows, sheep, horses, they are big, strong, muscular animals. They all get their protein from grass, from plants, and they synthesize it into the amino acids that they need. So looking at animals, we can get our protein from plants. And the plant source is what we need, because that is how our bodies function. That is what our bodies recognize. Our bodies can use that protein in the best way possible, and the body recognizes it because that is how we were created. That was what we were created for. And the average person needs about 0.7 to 1 gram per kilogram per day of protein. So the protein. The more calories you take in, naturally, the more protein you will take in. So elite athletes need about 1 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of protein per day. And the maximum that you should take is around 2.2, 2.5, and that's where in that range, you'll start to see some negative effects, especially in your gut and your bowel, and you'll become blocked up and clogged up. And this, per meal, they've seen that about 0.6 grams per kilogram per meal is a good amount. So protein that you eat will be absorbed. It just depends on the time. So in about an hour, 20 grams can be absorbed. So that's where the idea came that about 20 grams of protein in a meal is what you need, is what you can get. So that's in about an hour, you can absorb that much, because you have the capacity only to absorb a certain amount in a certain time. So protein absorption is time limited. It gets absorbed in your enterocytes. So it goes from your intestine, it digests it into peptidases. There's no protein breakdown in your mouth because you don't have the enzymes for it. It only starts in your small intestine. In your stomach, it just gets mixed up with acid and broken down into smaller pieces, but it's not getting digested. It only starts getting digested by the peptidases in your intestine. In your intestine, you are secreting peptidases, chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidase, which will digest your proteins and break them up into either amino acids, dipeptides, or tripeptides to be absorbed. Then it goes to small peptides, so broken down into small peptides. Then it's starting to be absorbed in your brush border, your microvilli in your intestine. So the microvilli, there are many peptidases that will try to absorb it in those three forms. So individual amino acids, dipeptides, and tripeptides. Okay, so you with me still? So how it gets absorbed is through two ways. So a sodium pump and a hydrogen pump. So that's basically moving sodium from outside into your cell, moving hydrogen from outside into your cell to create a positive or a negative environment where then you can pull in your amino acids and your di and tripeptides. So it is very hydrogen dependent, dipeptide and tripeptide transport or absorption. So that's where the problem comes in with animal proteins, is because there's too much hydrogen and it causes a negative balance, and then you are not absorbing the amount of protein or amino acids that you can. The problem there is also it takes an increased amount of time to break it down and to actually get it into the smaller pieces so that you can absorb it. Plants digest quicker, more easily, and you can then absorb more of the good stuff that you need. So that's one of the things. Then as well, plant-based, it's better digestion, more fiber, it digests more quickly, so you can absorb more of it in a shorter amount of time. You have less digestion issues, cramps, gas, acid as well. With animal products, you have acid buildup, so pushing back, pushing down, gas, bloating, this feeling of over fullness as well. You have an increased acid load with animal products. With plant-based products, you have less acid load. With plant-based protein, you have less disease problems, especially for your kidneys, your heart, your liver, and your circulatory system. Animal products are hard on those four systems especially. You can also include your lungs, which have to work harder to get that balance in your body. There's also less of a toxin buildup with plant-based proteins. There's less of an effect on your hormones through plant-based proteins. So these are just some of the positive things of plants protein versus animal protein. Okay, so as I said, your protein only starts to be denatured or broken down in your stomach. Nothing happens in your mouth, whereby carbohydrates can start digestion in your mouth, and coconut oil can also start to be absorbed in your mouth, which is interesting. The others, especially protein only gets broken down in your stomach, gets digested in your intestine. So, as I said, the pathways by which they are absorbed is a sodium pathway and a hydrogen pathway, which your body is extremely sensitive to. So if you're eating animal products, you can get dehydrated easily because you're moving your sodium out of from the outside into your cell. So meaning your cell will need more water to stop the the pH balance from spiraling out of control. So it's going to pull water into the cell. So the cell will get bigger. So you can get bloating, you can get fluid buildup, you can get edema as well. So these can all be caused by this movement of sodium and hydrogen, which can cause your body to react, and it can cause then knock-on effects like migraines, headaches, acid buildup, stomach ache, cramp, gas. All of these things can happen because of animal proteins. Okay, so as I've waded through this a little, it shows you why plant-based protein will be better for you. So some things that are high in protein, grains, which are also seeds, spinach is very high in protein, dried fruit, so fruit, leafy greens especially as well, your dark green leafies. Beetroot is also a good one. You can also eat the greens of beetroot. Seeds, lentils, so your lentils, your beans are high in protein. So they will also have these essential amino acids that you need. And you don't need a high amount of the amino acids per day. It's only a small amount. And as I said, if you're getting the mixture of amino acids, then you will be good. So finally, I'll look at some fruit. So the fruit with the highest protein content is a guava, which has 2.6 grams per 100 grams. Then you get avocado, which is 2 grams per 100 grams. You also get banana, which is 2.4 grams of protein per 100 grams. Apricot, 2.2 grams per 100 grams. Kiwi, 2.1 per 100 grams. Blackberry, which is 2 grams per 100 grams. What else do I have on here? Raspberry, 1.2, orange, 0.9, peaches, 0.9, cantaloupe, 0.8. So these are quite high. And if you look at protein per calorie, so per 200 calories, guava has 7.5 grams of protein. Apricots have 5.8 grams per 200 calories. Blackberries have 6.5 grams of protein per 200 calories. So as you can see, the protein to calorie ratio is very high. You can eat a lot of these fruit to get a high protein value. And fruit, you can eat as much as you want. You won't get negative effects. Your body will naturally limit you. When your stomach is full, you won't be able to eat more. And because it's high in nutrients, high in fiber, high in vitamins, minerals, and protein, you are getting everything that you need in a balance. You're not getting too much, you're not getting too little, it's all balanced and you are getting what you need. With animal products, it's very easy to go over the limit and have too much, and then you have all of these associated problems that go with it. That's also why we have all of these preventable diseases in the world. It came with an increase in the processed food intake, GMO intake, animal product intake. All of these increases, an increase in the processed animal products like cheese and milk and all of their derivatives. So these things all lead to disease if you are consuming dead things, animals. It puts you on the path to disease. When we go against the natural laws that have been put into place at creation, then we are bringing disease into our bodies, and we need to remember this. So you can get your protein on a plant-based lifestyle, from a plant-based lifestyle. Eating only fruit, you will also get enough protein. You will get the right amounts of protein. You will also get all the amino acids that you need from fruit if you eat a wide enough variety. Variety is key. Mixing and matching, having a lot of it is key. With going plant-based, whole food plant-based, variety is really king. Variety is really important. So that's it for today. Please like, subscribe, share this around. As always, stay healthy, and to God be the glory.